Hey, this is Paul Evans, and I love to talk about purpose and help us live with purpose to help people find their purpose. And all of the meaning that comes from life and through life is usually associated with why we're even doing life. And so we'll examine that today through the eyes of pain. But first, check out that I've got my V-neck on. I'm not even sure that they sell these anymore. This just shows you how old I am. I am truly old school. And secondly, not to disappoint, I don't do any video editing. All that's too hard for me, and I don't want to hire somebody. I don't know how to do the whiz bang. I don't know how to make things float in and out and cool transition. So this is what you get. Hopefully the content is helpful in some way. When it comes to turning our pain into purpose, I think that's the mindset that we've got to have in life in general, that everything can turn into something purposeful and can be very helpful to other people, regardless of what it is. And I've shared before about the loss of my first wife when our son was 5 weeks old. In that moment, it was hard to know there was going to be any purpose, right? It was a challenge to believe that things would turn around and become better and different, and this would actually be useful. And yet almost everybody says it's out of the pain, out of the trauma, is where the most good of their life came from, the most helpful aspect. Because the truth is, honestly, it's suffering that connects us. I got a buddy of mine, super wealthy. And anytime I'm talking to him, he says that he's living the dream. And I'm like, I bet you are living the dream. All that stack of cash you're sitting on over there. We don't connect over that, right? What have we connected on? Well, he had a tremendous loss in his life. And because of the loss of my life, he called me to come and spend time with him and his family during that traumatic period. We connected over suffering. Suffering is the universal aspect. Everybody doesn't feel like they are able to connect over success, but everybody can over suffering because it's something that every single one of us experiences. So as we begin, we need to think about things and be reminded of things that when it comes to suffering, number one, you're not alone. Everybody suffers. It's universal. And whatever you're facing, you're not the only one that faced that. So when you're young, you're 24 years old and your wife dies, you can kind of think that's highly unusual. This does not happen. This is unheard of. Well, the truth is it happened to a lot of people. And on the radio that week, I heard of a lot of individuals in my exact scenario. I would have never picked up on it before because I wasn't conscious of it. And then it turns out a lot of people go through that, right? So, first, remember you're not alone. Secondly, you're not being picked on. The universe didn't say, I want to make sure that Paul has some trouble. I mean, that would be super discouraging. I'd be super discouraged if I thought, oh my goodness, I've been hand selected for pain. Out of the heavens, it's come to me. I don't believe that. So I don't believe that we're being picked on. And third, we're not forgotten. It's easy in the middle of pain to feel like not only we're the only ones that's happening to, not only are we getting picked on by the universe, God has got it out for us, but people don't even know what I'm going through. If other people become aware of what you're going through, they absolutely don't forget. I remember getting a card from a church down in Florida that had like 286 signatures on it. It was pretty amazing. I wasn't forgotten at all. I was remembered. And we need to remind ourselves that we're not forgotten either. Okay, so what do we do with this? How in the world do we navigate this pain? How do we turn this pain into purpose? How do we flip the switch and make a difference and do something? So I just gave us some reminders. What we need to remember as well. We need to remember what life was like beforehand, before this traumatic event happened, and remember that we're called to continue living and not to be trapped in our pain. Sometimes we can get so trapped in our trauma that we're not able to escape that, and we end up not being useful to ourselves. We're not useful to other people. I remember working with a great guy one time whose wife had passed away 10 years before, and he couldn't get past it. Now, I hurt so deeply for him because he had forgotten what life was really about and what life was like. And I'm not diminishing his pain whatsoever, but there was so much more that could have been done with his pain and how he could have moved forward. So secondly, after we remember what we're supposed to be doing anyway, and that's living, we got to get recentered, right? We get recentered on life and what's important and the impact that we're going to make and the difference that we're going to make. We go back to our core values. We go back to what we believe the meaning of life is, and we recenter on that, and we refocus on that. And that's really the third thing, is refocusing. So we're going to remember, we're going to recenter, and then we're going to refocus so that we know life continues. Now, I had a situation where I had a 5-week-old. I didn't really have a choice. I mean, I could have, I guess I could have ignored everything going on, but had to focus on this child. So I had to refocus my life on the future, on going this new direction, this new situation, this new life that I was forced into. So I refocused on that. And I made sure that I was there for those who needed me the most. And at that time, it was Samuel. He needed me more than anybody. I had family and friends that came alongside and helped, and I'm grateful for that. But they couldn't live my life for me, right? I had to refocus. Nobody can live your life for you. We can't sit in the middle of the pain and not do anything and feel sorry for ourselves and feel pitiful. And I know I have to be cautious with some of those words because I don't tend to be very sensitive in life, and sometimes I'm not as compassionate as I need to be on those of us who have had trauma and pain, because I believe that we should move forward. We should heal and then move forward. But what we shouldn't do is sit in the pain and feel like I'm not going to bandage that. I'm not gonna have that surgery. I'm not gonna have that heart surgery. I think that we've got to make sure that we're refocusing, and then we're going to repay. Repay is when we go out into the world and we serve the world through the pain. This is how purpose is made out of pain. So I can't help a lot of people in general. I can't help people who struggle with depression because I've not been depressed. I can be there with them. I can be there for them, but I've not experienced that. However, somebody who's experienced the loss of a spouse, especially young in life with a child, absolutely been there. Not the same situation. I can't say I know exactly what they're going through, exactly what they're feeling, but I've been in a very similar boat, rowing the very similar river upstream. So I know what that feels like to some extent. And I believe that's part of my calling. I believe it's part of my purpose, is to be there to share the struggle, to shoulder the pain, and to help others move through it. 100% believe that's a way that I repay the life that I've been given, the support that I was given during that time. And so here I am to make that payback by serving, by turning that pain into purpose. And then finally is to rest. We've got to make sure that as we continue to give and give out of this pain, we've got to pull back and rest from that. We can't live in it all the time. We won't be very functional. So as we help somebody out of our pain, let's pull back. Let's make sure that we're remembering, that we're recentering, that we're refocusing. We go through those initial 3 steps again so that we're able to rest, refuel, so that then we can continue to repay. Those are just a few suggestions on how to take some of your pain, some of my pain, and turn it into purpose. If you've got any questions about this, visit me online, paulbevans.com, or on LinkedIn or Facebook. Feel free to reach out, to message, to DM. We're all in this life together, making purpose out of our pain. As always, success is not an accident. Be blessed. Follow me. Ring the notification bell. Share this message with other humans. Have an incredible day.